Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, ladies.
Waalaikumsalam
warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Assalamualaikum to our listeners also. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you all are doing well. So how are you, Zack and Madam J? How have you been?
Alhamdulillah, surviving. Okay, how about you, Zack?
Alhamdulillah, I'm hungry right now. Waiting for my Maggie. Okay, so how's your children? Are they preparing for their end year exam, PSLE?
My children, they are having school holiday. 10 days of school holiday. And today is only the third day of the school holiday. Please pray for me.
The weekends are counted. Okay, what about Zack?
No school holidays for us as well because PSLE year. So she's going back to school as per normal.
Yeah, same like my eldest. Yeah, Zack and Zack eldest daughter and my eldest are both the same age. So they are having PSLE this year. I think it starts on the 30th of September. Right?
Yeah, end of the month.
So have you been going back to office for the past few weeks?
Yes. It has been busier now, I guess, because the country is opening up. More things are allowed now. So busier with lots more meetings.
Jada and Zack are essential workers.
Yeah, not really essential, but essential.
Okay.
Yeah, essential by relation.
How about you,
I have been going to a lot of sites right now, taking occasionally, I think like fortnightly swab tests to allow, because it's part of the regulation. So from sites, I will either go back to office or to home, to work from home. Yeah, so my work is on the go. Hopefully all the transition from work from home to office will be made easy for us, inshallah.
To all our listeners as well.
So today, let's talk about institution of marriage.
Wow, such a big topic.
Hot topic.
Definitely. We are at the age already.
Yeah, but interesting that three almost 40s women want to talk about marriage. Usually it's the younger generation want to talk about this thing. But well, it may be an interesting perspective.
It's a different type of point of view.
Possibly.
Let's find out. Probably maybe I just start. What is marriage in general? Okay, marriage is a union of, probably everybody who knows that is a union of two individuals, which I believe that at the akad they already promised to uphold, to be faithful, to also find companionship and to fulfill emotional needs.
Sounds so good.
It sounds so good, right?
Yeah.
In fact, when you are sick, it'd be great to have somebody to look out for you. Getting to have someone halal to be physically fulfilling our basic human needs, which I think after that, most of us women will bear children for our families, right? And also not only for that, but also for the ummah.
Okay, so when we talk about marriage, let's see from the Islamic perspective. I'll be talking about the Islamic perspective. So Prophet ﷺ said, "An-nikahu sunnati, faman lam ya'mal bi sunnati falaysa minni," which means marriage is part of my sunnah, and whoever does not follow my sunnah has nothing got to do with me. So it means if we get married, that's means we are following the Prophet Sunnah, and we will be receiving the pahala of doing so, right? So if we look from the Islamic jurisprudence perspective, from the fixed perspective, we can see that Madhab Maliki sees marriage as akad tamlik wal intifa'. Tamlik wal intifa', which means ownership and benefiting. So when we talk about marriage, that's mean the husband and wife, the spouse, they own each other and they can benefit from each other. So this is from Madhab Maliki. However, Madhab Hanafi, they see marriage as akad tamlik only, okay? Ownership agreement, which means, from two different strangers, man and woman. With that ownership agreement, the man owns the woman and the woman owns the man, and they can do anything that they want towards each other.
Whether it's beneficial or not.
Yes, whether it is beneficial or not. So by saying so, other people cannot have sexual intimacy with them. Only those who are in that boundaries of the ownership agreement can do that. But a good thing from another perspective, from Madhab Shafi'i, Madhab Shafi'i sees marriage as akad ibaha, which is how do I say it? Legitimacy and permissible agreement. Madhab Shafi'i doesn't see marriage as ownership, because according to Madhab Shafi'i, if you own something, you are free to do anything. Like Zach said, whether it is something good or bad. So for him, for Madhab Shafi'i, they see it is as a legitimacy or permissible agreement, because you are responsible to what? To the spouse. You are responsible to your spouse, and you will be questioned of what you've done and what you didn't do. So for example, my handphone. If I own this phone, I am free to do anything to my phone. I can throw it, I can buy a new casing for it, I can take good care of it. That is if I own it, based on Madhab Hanafi and Madhab Maliki. But if I follow Madhab Shafi'i, I didn't own this. This phone owned by Allah. Our spouse owned by Allah. So we agree to take the phone as a legitimacy and permissible agreement. So I am responsible of the phone. I will be questioned of what I'll be doing on my phone. So basically, those are the definition of marriage like in Islam. How about Zach? Do you have any definition of marriage from others' perspective?
Yeah, from the social perspective, actually it's not that far away from the religious take or view towards marriage. To build a community, the basic unit of a society or humankind is the individual, kan? So, but then the thing about individual is that just with individual, it cannot grow into many people. So the individual needs another individual to help reproduce, to make a group of community, a group of society. So in order to facilitate that, that's where the institution of marriage legalize, allow these two individuals to be in the same house, same home, so that they can reproduce and contribute to the making of a larger society lah.
So this is from which perspective, is it? Would you say?
From the social perspective.
So it is regardless of religion and ethnic, is it?
Yeah, it's a human need for them to reproduce and to populate lah. We are not going to live forever. One day we're going to die. So so the human need to reproduce is to replace us. Yeah, and to have sustainable betul kata orang tu, sustainable lineage, generation.
That's what our government have been promoting with all the baby bonuses,
True.
Because
and
actually,
if I can add on, it is actually in line with Islam, So if you can see at Kitab Al-Fiqh Al-Madhahib Al-Arba'ah. So in Islam, nikah has many rulings depending on the state in which the person is. So not everybody can anyhow get married, or not everybody is, because we say Prophet say it is part of his sunnah, right? So everybody rushing to get married. No, because in Islam, the hukum of nikah, the ruling of nikah depend on the situation that we are. For example, in Fiqh al-Madhahib Arba'ah, Madhab Hanafi, Maliki, Shafi'i and Hanbali agree that yuftarab an-nikah. So nikah is fardu for those who lahu ar-raghbah fi nikah, for the person who have the urge to get married. And yatayaqqan wa yakhaf wuqu'ihi ala zina ila yatazawwaj. They have the urge, not only they have the urge, but they are confident they will fall into zina if they didn't get married. So for this type of people, it is yuftarat. They have to get married. But in other side of it, Imam Madhab Hanafi, Madhab Maliki say it is haram, and Madhab Shafi'i say it is afdal tarkuhu, better to leave it if a person lam yakhsha zina. You don't have the raghbah, you don't have the urge to get married, and you know that you won't fall into zina. So it is haram for you to get married, or it is afdal tarkuhu, you don't need to get married, especially if you ajiz anil infaq. You know that you are incapable to give nafaqah, zahir or batin, financially or emotionally. And you know, if you get married, it will yatarattab ala dhulm. You will cause zalim to your spouse. Maybe you have a sickness that is what?
incurable.
So you will be caused zalim to your spouse, or you know that you have very bad attitude that you went to seek help, and that bad attitude cannot be cured. So if you still get married, that will cause doom to your spouse. So yeah, it is like in line with what Zach is sharing.
I see, I see. It's very interesting to have this perspective of the ones that have to get married and the ones which haram to get married. Yeah.
Yeah, actually they have a lot of it. So if I want to share everything, it's going to be changed from podcast to fake class.
True. If you need to know more about this, yeah, you can simply Google. But our podcast is really, I think we take snippets of this view, with the purpose to help us along the way as we uncover our argument about marriage. Yeah. What is marriage to you now?
Okay, marriage to me now at age 40, my sense of marriage and perspective really changed lah. From the early years, which I think is basically as a human needs lah. Probably when, if you notice right, women maybe age 40 and above, why do they actually manage to sustain to be alone, to be single for a longer time if once they left the marriage? So this is what do they seek, and why are they not seeking? These are the type of question that I think would which some women out there will be questioning themselves. What am I looking for at this age? Yeah.
Madam Zach been smiling over what Madam been sharing. So our marriage therapist, what is marriage to you?
I'm not. I'm not a marriage therapist.
You are marriage therapist for us though.
No. I hear you, Ada, and why I'm smiling is because I find it interesting lah that with the way we view marriage is very different as we age. So now what I'm hearing from you is that, okay, in the past you look at marriage for companionship, but now you not so much so. And you're trying to figure out what exactly that you're looking in a marriage lah. And it's fair. I think your experience is very valid, and I am also curious what are some women in their 40s also looking for in the marriage, because I'm sure there are certain needs that they experience that perhaps marriage can fulfill. Okay, back to the question that you asked me, how do I view marriage now? I'm not a marriage therapist. I'm a marriage educator. But lately, no, it's okay. But okay lah. But lately, as I look at the world, view things happening, view relationships like in general around me, within my family members, with my friends, I'm beginning to question. Is it still necessary? Yes, what I said just now about marriage, the definition of marriage from the social perspective, from what Jay mentioned about from the religious perspective, I agree. There is purpose of marriage from those perspectives lah. But it's tough. Marriage is tough. It is a very difficult experience, and I feel that in today's world, it's as if that we are meant to fail in marriage, so quote unquote, because there's so many challenges,
and so many expectations also.
Yeah, that gear us towards breaking the marriage. So I'm beginning to question whether it is necessary to go through all those hardships. If the reason why marriage is necessary because we need to repopulate the world, there's so many people who are cohabiting and still populate the world, but not but outside of the institution of marriage. Can that work? Is it okay? So I'm beginning to ask. I'm beginning to ask that question. Yeah,
that can work. But the thing is, because like for example in Singapore, you cannot be registering your children who are born without the legal marriage registered. Okay,
Yeah.
so the child and we as parent ourselves will be denying from getting the specialty, the what,
Yes.
the whatever that other children and
Benefits
other
lah.
benefits and other parents are getting. So
Yeah.
that is one of the reason also.
Yeah, because I think we still live in a country, in a state where they still believe in a value of family.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
Yeah. So the government that is very Confucius, is very filial loyalty. They are still into that.
Correct.
And so, whatever liberal wave that comes from the nowhere in the different parts of the world, right? I believe that the wave will affect the whole world. It's just a matter of time. Yeah. So this new wave of cohabiting, actually tak new sangat lah, but it is coming slowly to our shore. So I am wondering how much can we hold on to this to the importance of institution of marriage.
Yeah,
So
I just read yesterday. Sorry, I just read yesterday from Straits Times. It says that in Singapore, 35% agree that cohabitate is better than getting into marriage, because marriage is such a, like you say lah, heavy commitment and responsibilities. Yeah.
True. And yeah, so see, I think the wave has reached Singapore. It's just a matter. It's just that, as we all know, our government is very principled in a sense. This is Confucius value of family being the important basic unit of a society is still very strong in our state. So that's why it's quite, in terms of policy, the policy is very pro family. So I think in a sense there is a layer of protection for marriage.
Correct.
Yeah, so that is one layer of protection. So, but I also don't want to just depend on the government's policy to make me convinced that marriage is important. So yeah, so my so I went on reading and trying to understand again what is marriage to me. Then I realized that we cannot just look at marriage as intimacy or companionship or reproducing so that there's continuity to human population. But marriage is a choice. Okay, number one, not everyone can choose to be in marriage, or not everyone should be in marriage. Like you said, some people wajib, some people sunnah, some people haram even. Okay, but for those who choose to be in marriage, it can be a really beautiful experience. It's tough, it's a lot of challenge, but it is still a sacred thing lah. It is a sacred unity bond. And it's also a way to show our iman. Yeah. So it goes back to faith, I guess. When we do something because of faith,
Yes.
we don't need to have a lot of reasons. So to me, I go back to the faith lah. I realized that so people get married. I choose to be in marriage because I feel that it is a way for me to realize my self-actualization as a Muslim woman. Yeah, and I choose this path. Yeah, I hope it makes sense.
Yeah, it does. Sure. Jay, maybe you want to share.
Yeah, how do you view marriage now?
Okay, how do I view marriage? Okay, I have a new worldview of marriage because, like both of you knows, that I failed in my marriage. So now I see marriage is as a sacred vow. So when you already take the oath, right? It is a sacred vow in the name of Allah. So when you decided to get into the marriage, that means you had taken an oath in the name of Allah. So you must know that this sacred vow is driven by something innate created by Allah to help us maybe to achieve tranquility, mutual love and blessings, sakinah, mawaddah and rahmah. So without sakinah, mawaddah and rahmah in the marriage, then for me, I'm not encouraging people to divorce, but without sakinah, mawaddah and rahmah in the marriage, then I don't see the benefit of marriage. But in other perspective, I see marriage is also a companionship, right? A companionship that provide each other's needs spiritually, physically, emotionally, and also to be the best that we can to help our partner to overcome their personal weakness, to overcome challenges, and for both of us to be better in our life in order to achieve mardatillah. So it goes back to what Zach say, in religion, we are doing things to seek the mardatillah. Yeah.
Well, maybe I would like to continue from Jay, what Jay said just now, regarding about Sakina, Mawada, Warahmah, right? Okay. Recently I heard this a short video from two ustads. There's a reason why it's Sakina first, Mawada, Warahmah.
Wow.
Okay. Sakina, normally in the context of proper Islamic love relationship, love will start only after marriage, right? Where in terms of Singapore or probably most of in the whole country, there's always love first before marriage. But in Islamic, it's already actually taught that Sakina is actually after you get married, you learn to fall in love. You learn about the person, and then why is it that the Sakina comes first before the Mawadah or Rahmah? Is because at this love, right? It takes effort. It takes effort to like how you actually plant a seed. You know, you fall in love, but that love doesn't last. Why it doesn't last? Because we are human. Our heart doesn't belong to us. So there's a lot of fertilizer that you have to plant, and you have to work a lot. I can't emphasize how a lot that you have to work into marriage itself. I just if I can really educate like what Zakia is doing right now, right? Like what Zach is doing right now, I would really like to emphasize not during the initial part of your getting married, but during marriage itself. Correct. There is so much that you have
education that needs to be learned.
Education, knowledge, everything during this period. Yes.
That is why everybody need to stay tuned with Overspoke with the podcast. For not only them, for us also to learn, to read before we share things. And in fact, to come here today, I spent the whole night reading a lot of books, reading a lot of publications to just understand it properly before we come to share with people. Yeah.
True. Probably I just continue. Yeah, probably I just continue from the stage where the love, the fairy tale. What happens after we reach an elderly age, where the physical attraction, the love, the jitters, the butterflies in the stomach already worn off? What is left? That is where the rahmah is the kasih sayang. When you are at elderly age, you need person, you need somebody to look like you may have seen elderly couples, not even only in Muslim community but in other races, they are still holding hands. But what is the thing that actually hold them together?
The rahmah.
Rahmah. Yes, Allah. This is the most important thing.
I want to respond to the Sakina. Sakina literally means tranquility lah, ketenangan.
Yes.
I currently I am learning Surah An-Nur. In Surah An-Nur, Allah said, actually in Surah An-Nur is interesting. It's talk about, actually it's a way of Allah teaching us about sex education. And the first few ayah, Allah actually mentioned that when you enter a house, you cannot just anyhow enter someone's house without permission.
Correct.
Yeah, and if you enter, the owner of the house can just chase you away. Yeah, and it can be a house, a room. Yeah. So it indicates that a house, a home is something very intimate to a person, and it's a private space for this person. Correct. And it doesn't have to be a space actually. An intimate home can also be a person. So a sakina, to me lah, this is what I make sense lah. A sakina is someone who we call home lah. right? Someone we are so intimate with, our person. This person is our person.
So I can chase anybody who come into my husband's life away.
Go
right?
away. This is mine. This is my home. Go get your own home. Yeah. So that's why when Aja said that, why is Sakina first? Because we want to build that boundary that, hey, that exclusivity, that this is the person whom we feel intimate with, feel at home with.
And you feel at peace with.
At peace with. MashaAllah.
MashaAllah.
Yes.
Somebody that you would
Bulu rumah ternaik sih.
deep, right? Deep.
Yeah.
Somebody that actually you, like I mentioned just now, somebody that you look forward to come back to from work, that really bring peace, tranquility inside your heart. MashaAllah, it's wonderful actually. Right?
True.
So now, probably after we went through the jitters and the beautiful story about what we make sense of marriage, but now in today's world, there are a lot of challenges. Right? There's a lot of challenges. Basically, probably, Zach, you want to share with us challenges that probably you face, or any benefit or function of the marriage in today's world?
I think we touched about this a bit just now. I just want to share the latest data about marriage in Singapore. Last year, there was a 22,651 marriages, regardless of races and ethnicity or religion. This is actually a decreasing number from about 10.9%. So it's quite a lot. So not many people are getting married, but also because maybe it was pandemic and people don't want to get married during such difficult time. The number of divorce is also decreasing. It's last year was about 6,959, decreased from 7,623. Again, this is general number, not focusing on specific ethnicity. So my question here is that why is the state taking so much interest in how many people got married? Should we be concerned that lesser people are interested in getting married? Should we even be concerned that the number of divorces are increasing for our community?
I think
so that's my concern. My question.
Because what, in my opinion, Zach and A, the increasing or decreasing number of people getting married and divorced is actually a reflect of how the community see the marriage institution. For example, now we can say that because of pandemic, lesser people get married. But less that we know, actually, most of the youngsters prefer to stay single before until they reach 30s. So this is what said by Prof. Pauline Tay, the Dean of SMU, right? And he also says that people's mind and commitment shifted from thinking about marriage to pressure about excel in workplace, and also in building their financial strength.
What's wrong with it?
It is like they prefer, maybe like you've been studying for years, so now you want to focus on excel in your workplace and in your financial stability. So you don't want to add more pressure by thinking or getting into marriage life. So after they think by the age of 30 they should have stabilized that, then they step into the marriage. So that is one of the reasons maybe why we should keep track of the numbers of marriage and divorce in order to see what is the view of the people of the community about marriage institution, and maybe there are things that we should look into, lessen the pressure, or maybe it is also affecting the numbers or the population of the country. If people, everybody is like not into marriage institution, not into family institution.
The continuity, the repopulation.
The continuity, correct.
All right. Just to summarize, Overspilled Milk, the podcast, is a platform for raw and candid opinion about life experiences. We celebrate the oops and the whys of life. We notice the milk in the bottle, and we also hope to learn and appreciate the spilled milk, understand why and how it happened, and resolve to do better. Overspilled Milk is produced with you ladies in mind who are also figuring out life as we are. Till the next episode. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum. Bye.
Stay tuned for part 2 of this episode.